One. Okay. Hey, Kendra. Hey, sis. I'm excited to talk to you later. Just trying to share this a little bit before I get started. Can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up or a heart if you can hear me? Something. Okay, awesome. Okay, so Namaste, Nicole Farrell here, Kachina Yoga, and it's been a minute since I've been live, not because I forgot about anybody, but because I have been working for y'all. So I have some really cool, exciting news that I want to share with you. But first, before we even get started, I wanted to say happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day. And I know we are in a Mercury retrograde, but if you are experiencing any symptoms from Mercury retrograde, know that and remember that we live in a dual reality. So that provides you the ability to transmute whatever is not going for you and in your favor into something that works for you. Because remember, life is 10% of what happens to you, but 90% of what you choose to do with it. And so what you choose to do with it is how you allow the energy that comes in through an event, through a person, through a place, through a thing, people, places, and things, events, whatever happens in the celestial, that energy, you actually have the last say in what happens. So it's going to happen regardless, but it's going to be 90%. The results are going to be on what you allow to happen. So whatever is happening, take that energy, transmute it for your better good, and move that day from something that's not so great into something that is amazing and works for you. Because that's what the power of energy is. Okay, so forget that Mercury retrograde crap. We ain't worried about it. So this is what I want to come here to say, though. I'm so excited. So there has been a really large request for me to get back into a one-on-one space with my students, my participants, or whatever it is that you choose, my friends, my family, whatever it is that you look at yourself as. I look at y'all as family, but I have been doing a lot of work online and a lot of work from home, which that's not going anywhere, but I have been listening to your requests, so I do have some really cool news to share with you. I have a few things I want to share with you, but first I want to get this done for anybody who can't stay on the live for the whole time. So I've heard everything that you said, and so I want to introduce you to my new project, and it is called the Stimulating Shakti Symposium. So I want to take a few moments to break down those words, because I went back and forth with what I was going to call this event. And I said, well, these are probably terminologies and words that most people don't use, but hey, whatever, we can break it down and we can understand, and there's always room for growth. So everyone should probably know what stimulating is. So when we stimulate something, we are encouraging it, or we are arousing the interest, or promoting enthusiasm for something. That's going to be the stimulating part. Now, when we get into Shakti, that might be a word that many people are not familiar with. And so Shakti is pretty, it's a big word, and it requires a lot of definition, but just in a generic term, Shakti is what we would consider to be the primordial energy from the Divine Mother, okay? It would be considered to be our force, the forceful energy that's within inside of us, very powerful energy that's within inside of us. Shakti is movement, okay? Shakti represents the active or the dynamic aspect of Shiva, which is consciousness. So you can't have consciousness if you don't utilize the Shakti movement, and you can't have Shakti movement if you don't have consciousness to dip into. So they work together. However, in this world that we live in, Shakti has been suppressed, okay? So this is why we need to stimulate it, okay? So Shakti represents the goddess power, or the feminine aspect of any of the gods that you may already be familiar with. For every god that there is a goddess that has the feminine active energy that works with that consciousness of that god. So Symposium is just a conference or a meeting to discuss a particular subject. And that subject for this particular symposium is going to be Shakti, and stimulating it, and how to get it active, and how to get it moving, and how to understand it. So when we go back into Shakti, and the fact that Shakti is very feminine, very, very feminine, and you think about in this world, the feminine energy has been put to sleep, okay? It has been suppressed. It has been dampened. It has been laid down and not allowed to just fully blossom into what its potential is. You will hear a lot of people talk about, you know, you need to stay woke, you need to be conscious, you need to raise your vibrations, all of these terminologies. But the only way to really do so is to recognize that there is goddess energy inside of you, whether you are masculine or feminine. There is goddess energy inside of you. And what Shakti does, it allows you to tap into your intuition. Shakti taps you into your creativity. And Shakti allows you to successfully address your emotions. And Shakti allows you to be free with your sexual expression. The Shakti energy is housed in that sacral chakra. That is the seat of your goddess power, is the sacral chakra. So this event, we are going to really get into the energy of the sacral chakra and how to get it open and expanded so that you can move freely, so that you can utilize your intuition better, so that you can utilize your creativity better, that you can freely express your sexuality, and so that you can move through emotions. Now, when you think about Shakti and you think about feminine energy, you think about the fact that feminine energy is soft and without edges. If you think about the female body, most times the female body is not a body that is very hard-edged like the masculine body. There are, exemptions or, whatever, but for the most part, the feminine body is very curvy, and that is what Shakti is. Shakti is a very fiery energy. Fire has no edges, okay? Fire doesn't have like straight lines. Fire is fluid. If you think about how fire looks when you are utilizing fire, and that's what Shakti is. So it's very soft. And in order to be soft, you think about emotions. A lot of times people think that when you address your emotions and when you allow and really understand your emotions, that you're being soft. You're not being soft. A lot of men especially think that to deal with that is to be a soft individual. But that's is what's keeping us in the state that we're in. So addressing emotions is a very big and important part of addressing the energy of the sacral chakra. Within the sacral chakra, the number one emotion that holds us back and blocks us is guilt. It is the heaviest energy that resides within the sacral chakra is guilt. And when you think about guilt and you think about the fact that it blocks your Shakti, that it blocks your creativity, that it blocks your sexuality, that it blocks your emotions, that it blocks your freedom and your intuition, then it's something that needs to be addressed. And a lot of times it's really sad to know that this guilt started with religious programming. If you think about the majority of religions, they do not uplift feminine energy. In the Bible, there are not very many women. If you think about Islam, there's not a lot of feminine power. You have got to understand the duality of the masculine and the feminine energy in order to come back into a whole. You have to. And the most creative energy that houses in our sacral chakra is our sexual energy, and that is a feminine energy. Okay, so when you go and you actually address and you deal with sexuality, it relieves you and frees you from that space of guilt. Most of us have not been taught when we become sexually active what sex really is. And this is what I really want to do here, is to free you from the chains of mental suppression through meditation and things like that, but also the chains of sexual suppression, because a lot of us have a lot of programming on us that is very heavy and very deep. And even when we are out being promiscuous, it's still programming, because sex is very sacred and sex is very powerful, and we need to understand what it is. It is the most creative energy that we have, so creative that it manifests in the physical as creating a whole baby. I mean, if you think about, babies have become like taken for granted. But when through the act of sexuality, when you have one energy merging with another energy to create a brand new energy, as in a physical baby, this is the same thing that happens on the physical that happens when you spiritually create through Shakti. So if you think about the baby being taken for granted, people have babies nowadays like it's nothing. But once upon a time, people, whoa, that's like magical. You created a baby, has 10 fingers, 10 toes. It has a heart. It breathes, it moves, it grows, it does all these things. And now it's more exciting for somebody to see somebody do a magic trick and pull an apple out of thin air than to actually see that this has been a whole creation. So that physical creation of the baby is the manifestation of sexuality and how powerful the creative force is within the sexual energy that remains inside of us, that remains suppressed, that remains misunderstood and not tapped into correctly. Once you can tap into that and you can release those emotions and release that sexuality, there's nothing stopping you, okay? Nothing. So we have to get rid of the guilt that is within the sacral chakra. When you think about this world and you think about feminine energy, you see how suppressed it has been, or it is actually. And when you a lot of times hear people who are feminist, and I want to address this right now, because feminism does not rise to the divine feminine energy. Let's get that straight. Feminism is actually completely opposite, and it is detrimental to raising the divine feminine, because what happens when you are feminist is you are actually still in a very masculine energy. You are still rising the masculine energy inside of you, and you are completely off balance, because at this point you are saying that I can do anything that a man can do and competing with the masculine energy. And that is not what feminine energy is about at all. We already know what the masculine energy inside of us can do. Whether you're male or you're female, we all know what the masculine energy can do, because we've been taught through religious teaching and we've been taught through societal teaching. So we know that. We've got that down packed. Now what we need to do is understand and tap into the feminine energy. Like I said, it's soft, it's quiet, it's active, it's movement, it's creative, and it is expressive, and it is not replicating the masculine energy that is already inside of us. So we've got to understand how to deal with these things and how to move past them so that we can actually get inside. So this is what this event is all about. So we're not going into a feminine space, okay? So this event is going to be really, really fun and liberating. It is for women who are 18 and up, and because we are going to We are going to really address sexuality here. We are going to really address some adult topics. If you have a daughter who is about 15, 16, and she is very mature, not mature as in she has breasts and she's having sex, but she is very mature in her mindset, in her spiritual thinking, then you could send me a private message and we can discuss if you would like to attend with her and have her to experience and understand what it is. But I don't have anything for the teenagers yet. I know I've been asked to do that, but I'm thinking about how to do that because I need to be very, very careful with that. But this right here is for women who are 18 years and up, and it's for any body type. So I don't want you to think that because there's going to be some yoga involved that you have to have a particular body type, because you don't. We all come in many different shapes, sizes, and forms. You don't need to have a high level of yoga experience to come to this event. The yogic part of it, the physical postures or the asanas, is just going to be a small portion of it, and we are going to use some very sensual yoga moves. Okay, so you want to learn and understand these poses. Anyone can do these poses. If there is a reason why maybe you are in a wheelchair and you can't do these poses, then there is going to be 5 hours of information that you can still utilize without doing the poses. You're still going to get benefits from it, but the actual poses are going to be very sensual in movement. This event, we are going to really focus on the sacral chakra. We're going to understand the sacral chakra. We are going to understand the sacredness of the womb that's inside of us, okay? Everyone has a sacral chakra, whether you're masculine or feminine. And we actually have several wombs that are inside of us. The womb that, the female womb that we have, however, we need to understand that. We have wombs, and our mind is a womb. Okay, your mind is a womb when you think about it. Your mouth is a womb. But we also have to understand the sacredness of the womb. We need to understand the sacredness of the moon cycle that we go through as women and how to put that to use for us. For so long, we have just actually dreaded the actual menstrual cycle and not understood the power that is behind it. There is a lot of power, and we're going to discuss that within this event. Within this event, so we will have some education. We will also have a lot of music that we'll be utilizing. We'll be doing some breathing exercises and some meditation, and we will have a lot of goddess collaboration. So this is going to introduce you into some of the goddesses if you are not familiar at all. So what you'll need to do definitely is come with an open mind and an open heart. Because if you walk into a space thinking that you know everything or that you know how it's going to go, you're going to miss out on the opportunity to actually open up that sacral chakra and to start to move that Shakti. Most of us have a sacral chakra that's like this small, right? And it's just very small and it's very suppressed. It should be nice and wide and expansive, and it should be moving from the front to the back of your body, not just sitting in this little point because it needs to be open. It is so blocked. So we need to really open this up. And if you have been a person who has been through sexual trauma and you have a hard time with sex, if you've been through a person who's been through a lot of emotional trauma, or if you've been subject to a lot of religious programming for the majority of your life, this is going to be a great event for you. Like I said, you don't have to have a lot of yoga experience. I'm going to take it easy on y'all. It's going to be really, 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 really fun. And 5 hours, it's on a Saturday. So the first event is in Houston on April the 13th. The 5 hours is going to fly by. Trust me. It's going to be very fun, very, very collaborative, very, very informative, and very freeing, very feminine. So I think you really, really will enjoy it. I've been working really hard on this. At the end of the session, we are going to have a goddess mingle where we have some really yummy foods and refreshments, and you'll have an opportunity to ask some questions that you may not have wanted to ask in front of everyone else, an opportunity for some pictures and some nice discussion with people who you may have become friends with for a very long time. When you share an event like this with people, you tend to build a bond. And every time I've been through anything like this, I've really built a bond with at least one person within the group. And that's what we need, again, in this world, is that sacred sister circle, because that's what's missing. So many times women are very competitive with each other, and that is not how we originally were. We originally worked together. We originally cycled together. We originally were very revered within the community for the wisdom, the intuition, and the manifestation powers that we had. So we've got to get back to that. We've got to understand that there are a lot of women out here that we can trust to do these things with. You've just got to use your discernment. Everyone's on a different level, but anyone that's attracted to an event like this is probably going to be something that you are going to vibe with. So we're going to start off in Houston in April, and then we are going to move to different parts of the country. It will always be at least 5 hours, and it will always go very quickly, but it will always be extremely fun and empowering, okay? So I want you to really consider that it's in a small, intimate environment. There's no masculine energy in the room. Well, there's masculine energy within us, but there are no men in the room. It's in a small, intimate environment. You have the opportunity to actually let your hair down and to be yourself and to understand and to really collaborate with women and pull out that energy that is within your sacral chakra. So I'm super excited for that. The tickets are on sale. They are $125 for the 5-hour event. That includes the refreshments at the end. And I'll put a link to where you can purchase the tickets within the comments somewhere as soon as I get done with this live. So that was one event that I wanted to share with you. But the second thing I wanted to share with you is I just got back from Louisiana, and I was a guest on M. Rain's new show, Moments of Mindfulness. And y'all, I'm just super excited. This was such an awesome experience. Her show is going to appear on the Fox network in the area around Louisiana, Arkansas, and some parts of Mississippi. And I already know it's going to go viral because she's just like a very natural talk show host. I think she missed her calling doing everything she's done prior to, but just sitting down and talking to her and actually being able to share some things about yoga. I was so grateful to be able to do that. And it was funny because one of the guys who produces the show was like, yeah, y'all just kind of vibed. And it was like, well, we know each other. But, you know, it was just like being on the couch. And I kept calling it the Big Comfy Couch. I don't know if y'all remember that show. But it was like kind of sitting there next to Auntie M. It just kind of flowed. So anytime these episodes air, y'all are going to want to watch these episodes. I think mine's going to be like sometime in the middle of April. But each one of them I'm going to watch every single one of them. I know she said she's going to put them online too, but she's giving all kinds of tips on how to be more mindful and how to take your power back. So I'm just super excited to see all of this feminine energy just flowing everywhere and making the world a better place. So I'm excited about that, and I'm very grateful. We had so much fun hanging out with her and her husband and getting to meet her crew. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk about the heart chakra class. So I really want to get another heart chakra class going because that class is so beneficial. We have the three chakras that we suffer from the most are the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the heart chakra. Those are the most blocked. When you can master your lower self, if you are you probably have already had a lot of movement within your higher self, but it's the lower self that is keeping you from actually being able to utilize that. Once you get that lower self tuned in, that higher self just tends to move already because it's been waiting for you to master all of that lower vibrational urges and understand it and get that in check, okay? Because you are the master of the ship. So if all your chakras are pulling you all over the place, it's a hard time for you to connect with your higher self and to actually allow all of the intuitive parts of you and all of your gifts to actually just flow with ease. Those parts are going to come naturally. It's that lower self that you really got to master. So that root chakra course is completely free. It's always available. Everyone deserves a nice, firm foundation. And I have that on my Teachable platform. You can find it on my website at kachinayoga.com. That sacral chakra is probably the most blocked area that we have, and that is because, like I said, of all of the teachings that we've had. And this is why I'm taking this on the road, because I really want everyone to have an opportunity to expand that energy and release all of that guilt and just open it up. And then that heart chakra, this is your gateway into your higher self. This is the gateway into the soul. So it's very important that you do the heart chakra work. If you can do the heart chakra work without having done any of the other lower chakras. It is best done when you start from the root up. But some of us have so much heavy sludge within our heart chakra that we really need to cleanse it, because until you cleanse that area and until you release and learn forgiveness and learn what forgiveness really is, it is very difficult for you to move forward, okay? So that course, I want to get that course back opened up. Hopefully with the new moon, we get at least 8 participants, because it does require some collaboration. It does require some speaking. And my sister Kendra Coleman is on here, and she is the owner of Kendra's Love Corner, and she and I work together with this heart chakra course, and it really has a lot of communication and things that you need to really utilize in order to get that heart chakra to get that heart chakra open. So if that's something that you're interested in, send me a private message, and we'll get that started on the next new moon. I'm not going to put that one up on the Teachable platform, the platform for the self-guided, probably for quite a while. I actually need to figure out if it should ever go on there, because it requires communication. It's a supported course that is really collaborative. So that's one thing that I did want to make sure that I mentioned. I'm going to look here and see what y'all are talking about. I got to look on my computer because that phone screen is just like too small. Let's see here. Oh, hi, Mimi. Hi, Ty. Walking in the heart chakra is very helpful. Yes, working on the heart chakra is helpful, Mimi. You know. Let's see here. Oshun. What about those of us who are post-menopause? Those of us not in the Houston. So if you're not in the Houston area, Oshun, we're just starting off in Houston, but I'm going to make my way. I probably won't hit every single place, but probably somewhere close by you. And I'm glad you brought up the post-menopausal, okay? So we talked about the womb, and now remember that everything that's on the physical began on the spiritual first. So the physical womb, like I said, is for manifesting a physical baby. However, each of us has a spiritual womb within us. So a lot of times people think that because I don't have a menstrual cycle any longer, that I don't have the same access to the powers of the feminine side of me. But that is not true. I'm here to tell you that is not true. So when you do not menstruate any longer, you still have access to the moon cycle. And this is what I teach in Root Chakra 101. And then in Sacral Chakra, we get into the moon cycle with your actual moon cycle. So you have that same, the woman's moon cycle is based on the moon cycle, the celestial moon cycle, because we know that everything that happens as above is so below. So everything that's happening in the cosmos is a direct representation of what's happening within us. We as women have gotten off track. We used to flow exactly with the moon, but you can utilize the celestial moon cycle to your advantage to do the exact same thing that you would be doing through your physical moon cycle. So not being premenopausal, having had a hysterectomy or anything like that does not stop you. It does not take away anything from you but the ability to make a physical baby. So if you are not trying to make a physical baby, then guess what? Nothing's missing whatsoever. So I hope that answered your question. If not, please let me know. Let's see here. Let me refresh. Y'all, I am so excited about this class. It's really fun. It's gonna be just so amazing. And I'm excited to get back on the road again. I've been since I've been back after the heart chakra, I've been kind of anxious to see people. And I feel like every time I go anywhere, I activate some more parts of my DNA. So that's what one of the best things about traveling is. If you have some place that you've always wanted to travel to and you don't know why, like some weird place that just most people don't want to go to, it's probably because you had a past life there and you need to go there and activate some of your DNA. Justina or Justinia? I know a lot of Justinia, so Justina, looking forward to these events. Oh yeah, I'm glad. I hope that we have something really close to you. Oh, you're welcome, Oshun. No problem whatsoever. I love anything to do with freeing us as females from everything that we suffered from. It's really sad, and but that's my goal and my mission, and I don't want to leave until I feel like I've done sufficient work on assisting us in that area. So do we have any other questions? If not, I'm going to probably close this down and get back to work on the event. Oh, and y'all, so the Goddess Mingle part, I have been obsessed with good vegan food because I think people don't get a chance to experience vegan food for what it is, like its true potential. Sometimes people think, what is the just gonna eat salad all the time? So here in the Houston area especially, there is a lot of good vegan food. There are Caribbean vegan foods, Asian vegan foods, soul vegan foods, like American type, just anything you can think of. And so the event is actually going to be, the mingle part of it is going to be actually an all vegan. We have a few sponsors who are bringing in some really yummy treats that I'm telling you, I'm a foodie. I like good food. So I'm not bringing you anything that doesn't taste good, but it will give you an opportunity to actually see how awesome vegan food is if you haven't had the experience before. So that is something, and like I said, keep an open mind and an open heart when you come in. So, and your mind will definitely be blown. Are you going anywhere north or east? Well, definitely. You know what? When you say, so is that northeast? Like Maine, New York, Philly type of area, or is that completely north and east? I'm going to make sure I understand, because I love the northwest a lot and I love the northeast a lot, but then I actually like just the north too. So I know probably somewhere in both of those areas, but I wanted to make sure I understood exactly what area you're talking about. And I'm going to be open to suggestions too. So wherever, if you have a place that you reside in that you really want to bring it to, then I will definitely look into it. They'll always most likely be in a yoga studio because I really like the setting and I like the environment. I don't want it to be something where you can't begin to feel comfortable, because we are getting very intimate, very, very intimate. And I want you to feel nice and secure. So I'm in Midwest. Oh, I was born in Ohio, so I definitely want to go to Chicago or that Ohio area. So if that is somewhere close to you, Michigan, something like that. Yeah, that would be cool. Yes, I definitely want to be there. I used to live in Chicago, and Michigan, see? And I lived in Ohio as well. So, yeah, I kind of miss the Midwest. It's a very interesting place. It was a great place to have a childhood, too. Yes, so perfect. I've never been to Minnesota. That's one state that I've never been to. Minnesota or Wisconsin, so... Anyways, that's all I had today, but I'm super excited. Like I said, I'll post a link to the Houston event, and then as soon as I get some of the information for the next event up, I will definitely share it with you. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Like I said, don't let Mercury retrograde scare you. This is your world. This is your reality. It is what you make of it. I love you all so much. Have a wonderful day.